So hopefully anybody's happy with that. Yeah, dude, something crazy how right there you saw year 2, season 1 of For Honor. Wow. So very crazy, man. Just thinking back to that year 2 of For Honor, man. Wow. It's so freaking crazy. It's so freaking crazy to me because I played this game ever since the beta. Man, I'm getting old. I'm getting old, dude. I've been playing this game in my, through my whole 20s, man. And man, Jesus Christ, dude, I'm gonna be turning 29 in next month, man. That's crazy. Yeah, man. I've been through this game, through its ups and downs, its many changes, and I'm still with it, dude. Still with it. You know, the game, of course, still has its problems, but so each game has their own problems.
We're balancing.
What can you do?
Exactly.
GC.
So, first, before we talk balancing,
Yes.
it's a surprise to you, so don't worry about it.
Oh no.
I just want to say we've had 4 new people coming to the Warriors Den
Yes.
today, right? We've had Marina. I didn't mess up her name this time.
No.
We've had Aiden.
Aiden.
We've had Marie-Ève. We've had Pascal. First time they were here, amazing.
You killed it.
I'm super stoked. We have amazing people on the team. It's great, and I love when we're able to showcase new people that have
Yeah.
never been here before, right?
It's
That's super cool. Actually,
It's always good to show
let's do
new
balancing
faces.
now, right? Yeah, I just want to give props because
Not
No,
bad.
I mean it's
Super
no,
proud.
it's worth it.
yeah.
It's worth it.
Okay, so well, balancing.
wow.
Well, we have patch notes, but we'll talk about something else a little bit earlier. It's okay.
Yeah.
No worry about it. So first, super quick recap of the Highlander testing ground.
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
So we got a lot of feedback from it.
Mhm.
It wasn't all positive, but it wasn't all negative.
It's good to have negative feedback
good to
as
have
well,
negative
like
feedback as
constructive feedback. Let's have
Exactly,
them that
right?
way, because
That's
yeah,
the
we
point.
need them.
We have nothing to announce for now. Just want to say it concluded not long ago. We gathered a ton of feedback. We're looking through it, pouring through it, see what we're gonna do.
Okay, so we have to wait a little bit
when
more
we
for
have
the
more information,
Highlander
we'll give it.
rework then.
But for now, it just
Gotcha.
But it was great. I'm super
Yeah.
happy that
I think they might
there's
come
things
out with
that
the
players,
rework
like,
gonna be
we're
next
like,
season.
this isn't too good. This is amazing, and trying
It'll
to
fit
gauge the
well
response
next
to it
season
is always
because
like, it's a
next season is
challenge,
based on the
but
liking.
it's always good to have.
There's a lot of TG also all the time, so it's okay if we take time to just
of course.
work on like some of them just
course. That's
longer.
Well, maybe
That's
they
the
might
point
do
of it,
it
right?
That's the point of
in
it.
season
Exactly.
1.
But we do have other
The year
stuff.
8 season 1.
Yeah. So now,
We
like,
just saw.
Max teased it, but it's
Yeah.
fine. So, if you remember, a
Yes.
couple of not the last TG, the one before,
One before?
one before,
I think
right? We did test something with bash speeds,
Yes.
right? So essentially, what we had tested in that testing ground is we took different heroes, and we tried different speeds for their front dodge bashes, right? Not charged. So for most heroes that have them, and we tried we put them in different buckets. So we had bash heroes that only had a bash, heroes that had a bash with a feintable heavy, heroes that had a bash with a non-feintable attack, right? So just to try to get a good sample of what the possibilities are, and then in each of those buckets we tried different speeds to go. Does this need to be 466, 433, or 400? At 300 in the front dodge, so to make sure that we kind of had a lot of data. And what we found out through our data and through some analyses that I've gotten from community players, you know who you are, so thank you, that essentially we had numbers where the difference from 500 to 466 MS was pronounced. So if we, by speeding them up by 33 MS, those bashes landed more often. Then we tried 466 to 433. They still landed more often, so that's great, right?
Yeah.
But then the funny thing happened: 433 to 400, which was I was kind of expecting it, but it's nice to have confirmation there.
Of course.
433 to 400, zero change, absolutely
Even if it's
nothing.
the same,
Even if it's the same, there was absolutely no change in hit rates. So this tells us a couple things, and this was, by the way, across all 3 buckets, right? Whether it's just a bash or whatever else other options happen. So because of this, the end result is they're all 433 now, right? And I know people go like, oh yeah, we're standardizing, but this is an actual good standardization to have because it means that your bash is going to land more effectively against everyone. It doesn't matter if you're facing a reaction monster that, you know, is 18 and chugs a lot of energy drinks or whatever. It doesn't matter. You'll still be able to land bashes against them, whereas before it would have been a lot more challenging.
Okay.
So there's a lot of that stuff going on.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the other thing that we did that we looked at was, do we adjust the time from which you can perform a bash from front dodge, right? So we had done from 300 ms to 500 ms. You front dodge, you dodge forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you press guard break, and the earliest it can come out was at 300, and the latest it can come out is at 500. It gives you mix-ups. If you delay it a little bit, you get guard break out of it at the end of whatever. But I know that a lot of our more pro players asked to put this at 366 and the bash is at 433. So the end result would be that it would still land at 800 milliseconds into the dodge.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because 3 plus 5 equals 8. So we've tried that, and we had two things come out of that. First of all, there was a worry about frame advantage, which could have caused issues with, like, let's say, like I'm getting frame advantage and I do a front dodge bash, and if this is coming too early, then I can or can't get interrupted and all that sort of stuff. We did a lot of tests there, and it turns out that 433 is almost a magic number, because at 433 there's thresholds that we don't hit that we would have hit at 400. So because of this, we can leave it at 433 and we don't really have a problem there, and be at 300 in the front dodge, so that's great. And the second thing is, it felt really bad to delay that further by another 66 ms, right? You would do it, the game feels unresponsive, it's not super good there. Like, oh yeah, this really, really feels bad. If you're delaying it manually, it feels good because I'm doing front dodge and I press the button and it comes out immediately when you're delaying it.
Yeah.
But if you're not delaying it and it comes out super late, it just feels really, really bad.
And do we have exception to this
So
rule?
there's one exception to this rule. So we applied this to everybody, to the entire cast that has non-chargeable front dodge bashes, right? It's a lot of words. It's a crazy word salad there. But it's like a lot of heroes have that. Like Warden doesn't, for example. It doesn't apply to Warmonger either because they're chargeable. But for Medjay, so Medjay in Axe mode is underperforming at the moment. So we've decided to leave Medjay to be the only hero that can still do a front dodge bash at 100 ms into their front dodge.
Okay.
This means that we're hoping to see Medjay being able to open up opponents way more. It doesn't guarantee a lot of damage. There's a 9 damage light that comes afterwards, so it's not the highest damage option, but it should help that hero like perform way better in Axe mode. So that was thing there. And then the other thing that we had to adjust as well was Orochi and Tiandi. So Orochi and Tiandi have dodge cancels. A bunch of heroes have dodge cancels, but these two specifically, you can cancel the recovery of whatever you want to do into a dodge. But at the timing that things are at right now, if you did front dodge bash and you cancel the recovery on hit into another front dodge bash, it could not be dodged.
Oh.
So it kind of created infinite situations. So because of this, we delayed those branchings, like the way it chains into, like, you know, it cancels the recovery rather into the dodge by 33 ms, but only on hit. So it won't affect you when you miss or whatever. It's just on hit specifically to make sure we don't have those infinites, and we should be good to go. So that's gonna be like that's the interesting part for this year. That we're trying to like adjusting. We took our time, right? It took a long time for us to get here.
Yes.
But at the same time, we wanted to make sure that we were in a good position for this. We had a lot of data to come through, a lot of heroes to adjust, make sure everything was good. We had to check with your team as well to make sure animations were good.
Yes, because like even like those like 33 millisecond like kind of affect the animation sometimes.
Yeah.
Like the branching, if the animation is not over.
And at that speed, it's way bigger, right? Because if you're going for 500 to 433, it's way more complicated even from like a second to 933, right?
And sometimes like all those numbers are like, oh my god, that's so much number. Let's just me try. Like I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see if it's a little bit janky. There's one character that I know we kind of redo a little bit the animation there. It's Kitty Fall, because I know people didn't like it. It wasn't that great, so we we're working on those. We're looking at the characters, so we just like
exactly
make it a little
right.
bit
did a little like sneaky
on
fix
this
in
one.
there.
So sneaky fix.
So that's good. So honestly, like we're gonna see how things develop with this. We're hoping that this lets most heroes open up opponents in a much better fashion. It's going to be a lot more consistent. At 433 ms, honestly, like not a lot of people can react to that. If you couldn't react to the 500 before, this essentially changes nothing to you, right? Because you can still react to the dodge itself. The dodge is still 300. If you're seeing somebody dodge, they have like 300 there. Then you have like another, like at least 400 MS to be able to dodge. You can usually react 400 MS type of stuff and dodge. You should be okay. But reacting to the orange part, to the indicator, to all that sort of stuff, that players at super high level with crazy reaction times are able to, it is much more difficult for them. So, like I said before, let's say you go, like say I go because I'm bad, and I start to play, and I end up against like somebody that won like a dual tournament, and I do it, and they always used to dodge. Well, now maybe they won't. I'm gonna catch them once in a while. So that's yeah. It makes the game like to have a bit more of an even playing ground, right? So that's the important part. And then we're still going to keep an eye on things if things become too complicated.
Yes.
If there's impacts that we did not anticipate, because no matter how much things can happen, right?
Yeah, of course.
I know pro players have concerns in terms of ganking, so we're going to keep an eye on that. There might be things coming in the future. I don't know that we look at ganking.
But try that and leave us your
exactly
feedback
right. Play it, try it, give us feedback. We're always looking at everything we can in terms of feedback. There's season surveys that we
quality of life.
I have meetings every season with the people that like parse those surveys, so we get like a good pulse in the community. So.
And there's also a good thing like to give a feedback at first when you play.
Yeah.
But like continue playing with it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it changes. Your feedback can change, right?
Right. Because often enough, like you're playing something, and then you're like, oh yeah, this is really good, or this is garbage, whatever. And it's okay. It's okay to have an initial gut reaction. And mention it that you like it or you don't like it. But then, often enough, and this is something that we've noticed really often, a month in, either nobody talks about it anymore because it stopped being a problem, or you actually, like, you changed your mind. You gained knowledge about it, and you go, actually, you know what? This is actually pretty good. I didn't like it at first, now I like it. You may still not like it, right? Like
it's fine.
But... like sometimes we find that like it's normal, right? That we have to give a bit of time for these things to kind of like, you let it brew a little bit, you get into it, and then at some point you're like, okay, this is fine. Like the same happened with, I remember when we removed option selects, I know players were freaking out when it happened, right? And then a month in, this is great. Like it makes my life much better. So a lot of
because we do balancing all the time. We keep an eye on the game. We keep like balancing, so stuff move around and change. So
yeah, we have people dedicated on the fight team specifically to just look out for that sort of stuff, come up with options, things we can do to balance the game to make sure things are better balanced there. So that's great. There's one thing I need to mention as well that we triple checked yesterday, so it should be good.
Yes.
We had an issue since we reintegrated the Lawbringer rework, where you could do because it's in the moveset, right? You can do front dodge into a neutral attack, so into a light, into a heavy. And if you buffered it a little bit too quick, it wouldn't come out. So this should be fixed in the coming patch.
Okay.
I think it got skipped in the patch notes for technical reasons, but it's important to mention it. I used to buffer everything like an idiot, so that's how I do it. But it's like it's important. Like I want to make sure that people know we acknowledge it. I knew it was an issue. We made sure it was going to get patched. So
perfect. So talking about patch note. All this information that DC just spoke about going to be in the patch note available on our website October 26th.
Yeah.
So if you want to read it and just go over all those numbers, do that. Thank you, GC.
Thank you, Vanessa.
I think it's all for you. We're gonna talk a little bit about maybe tournament stuff right after. But that's it. So see you in a few minutes. Thank you, GC.
Thank you.